Contrary to popular belief, the engineering workplace is definitely not a place of equality, at least not when it comes to salaries. Some engineers will have relatively stagnant salaries when you consider inflation, and others will triple their salary in just a few years. And whether you want your salary to grow faster or slower, well, that's up to you to decide. But for those of you who choose the first option, let's discuss the best ways to 3x your engineering salary in 5.5 years. Before we discuss how to dramatically increase your engineering salary, I invite you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to stay in the loop about engineering careers and how to be successful in them. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video to make sure you know your next steps to make a killer salary in engineering. So one of the biggest things is you want to have a plan early. The earlier the better, really. I'm talking not just like as early as when you graduate or as early as when you start college, but like as soon as you watch this video or as soon as you think about it, because the more you want to move up an engineering career ladder quickly, you'll have to formulate a plan that you'll be willing to stick to as early as possible. And this can be challenging because you don't know early on necessarily what you'll want to do long term. So you're going to have to do your research as early as possible in order to see what kinds of things you'd want to do, what kind of career path would truly be sustainable for you in the long run, that you would enjoy enough that you wouldn't want to leave it and have to start over in something else. Wherever you are right now, now is the best time to be formulating this plan, to be figuring out what kind of thing you enjoy and what kind of thing that you can become really good at and specialize in it. And ideally, you do stick to this plan without changes. Ideally, you're going to find an area of expertise that you love, you'll learn about it, you'll get into that entry-level job, gradually work your way to become an expert and be the person who every company wants. And that's how you're going to increase your salary as much as possible and become the expert as much as possible who everyone wants. But this isn't always the reality. I don't recommend forcing yourself to stick to something that you don't like, but doing your research and getting these experiences as early as possible is going to help maximize the chances that you're going to enjoy what you do, be thankful for it, and want to stick to it enough that you're going to actually be seen as the consistent expert in this thing. So this helps you to specialize in one thing. Companies are going to value your extensive expertise in it. And so yeah, that would be the way that you can increase your salary as quickly as possible without having any detours into less relevant career fields and stuff like that. Even though I do think, like I mentioned, that enjoying what you do and not forcing it is important. This video is about increasing your salary as much as possible, so that's where I'm going to focus on the topics that allow you to do that, which is going to be if you already love the thing you do and are able to stick with it as long as possible. So getting your experience early on is going to make a big difference here. And like I've said before, having an internship while in school, especially in whichever area you plan to work in, that's going to make it way easier to land that first full-time job and also like in the topics, in the area of expertise that you want and get started on the right path. Because it is actually quite difficult to get your first job in engineering if you haven't had any internships. It's happened before, and heck, I actually somehow managed to accomplish it, but it's way harder, and I recommend that early on you figure out how to get yourself into these internships and utilize them in order to get yourself into the area of expertise that you want in your jobs. And having involvement in research projects or clubs early on during your college curriculum is going to make it way easier to get the internship, because it's the same thing where if you're applying to the internship and they don't see anything else relevant, then they're going to prioritize someone else over you there as well. So it's a chain of events that if you could just start off as early as possible, it's going to be way easier. You're going to have a much easier time going up the corporate ladder and going up the progression of salaries and be able to 3x your salary as quickly as possible. So what you do now or don't do now is going to affect your trajectory for the progression later on. So don't be thinking in terms of, oh, tomorrow I can do this, or next year I could do this, or whenever. Have the plan now, act now, and that's going to affect your trajectory for the progression of it. And so when you're in these jobs, take on more responsibility. Being proactive and learning topics that are important to the team, especially the stuff that you see the more senior level people working on that's a little bit more complex or challenging. Be proactive in learning about it, and especially if possible that you can actually contribute to those things, help make their lives easier. That's going to help build a great case for promotions and salary increases sooner rather than later. Opportunities also to build leadership as the lead of a project in management. If you show yourself helping younger engineers, if you show yourself contributing to higher level projects and leading teams, doing things, that's going to especially show that you're leadership material and will really help to push up your pay grade. You're going to need to be proactive in adding the value, and then hopefully upper management is going to see you doing so and will provide you with the opportunities. But it's that classic example of you have to expect that you're going to give the value and then receive the rewards later on, even though it's going to take some patience and you're going to have to detach yourself from outcomes a bit. But that is the reality, is that they are going to expect to see the value first before giving you the promotion. And one thing we've heard about job hopping and such, but generally speaking, if you switch companies every 3 to 5 years, I've heard some people say less than that. I'd say in engineering tends to still be a little bit more old school. So if you switch companies 3 to 5 years, then you can usually get good salary increases. And especially if you negotiate for those higher level positions and be firmly set on those, then you can usually negotiate a much higher salary than what your current company would be willing to give you or willing to increase you to. So you can even use this offer to potentially negotiate a counteroffer from your current company to have as that option, although I'd say that you do want to be set on the fact that if you're not getting this raise or this promotion, that you are going to go to the other company. So keeping your options open, having your accomplishments that you can advertise to other companies, that's going to make a big difference, especially as you go up the career ladder. But in terms of the job hopping situation, it is something to be careful about. When you're more entry level, if they see a few, or 1 or 2 maybe, or maybe 3, like 1 year or less stints, they're not going to hold it as much against you. But keep in mind, these companies don't want to waste their time or use their time on someone who's not going to stick around for long. So they do want to see that you're going to have some consistency in certain jobs, not some kind of haywire career path. So I would say take this one within reason and be strategic about it. Make sure that each position that you go to next is going to be building up your actual career trajectory and have a strategic plan behind it, rather than it just simply being, oh, I'm going to the next company for a $2,000 a year increase or something relatively insignificant. So that's what I have about how to increase your salary as much as possible and within 3x and within 5.5 years. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel to stay in the loop about engineering careers and how to be successful in them. And be sure to stick around and leave a comment if you have any questions or comments or criticisms. I hope to talk to you soon. Good luck with everything.